Welcome, race fans, to a grand final of Simability V8 Season 16, coming to you live from the legendary Autodrome Jose Carlos Place. Passe? I don't know. Better known as Interlagos. I'm here with my brilliant co-commentator, Sam Busing, and we are absolutely thrilled to bring you coverage on this high stakes and, as usual, high-octane V8, and this time an endurance race showdown. Sam, welcome, man. Are you looking forward to this one?
I'm definitely looking forward to this. I would have hoped the standings were a bit closer, like it is in TCRs, but nonetheless, it's gonna be a great race on a great track. Hopefully.
You're completely right, man. I mean, this is just not any race. This is the final round of the season, and besides the fact that we have a very big lead from Simon Trendle, there are still a massive 300 championship points up for grabs in today. So the pressure is on Simon not to mess up and finish the race in a roughly maximum top 20. He needs to finish, and he needs to show that he is gonna reel the season in for him. And one of the most spectacular tracks there is with the Interlagos, with the iconic Senna S, all the elevation changes. Unforgiving corners, especially on the off tracks. It will test all the drivers' limits to not go over that incident limit. And I think that every step during the way is going to be a crucial battle for most of them. Because besides that, we have Simon with a big lead, which is still mathematically possible to get past. We have a good fight in the middle and a good fight for second place.
I'm going to correct everything that we just said, because I just saw that the points are not sorted by drop point, and the fight is actually pretty close between Simon and Kenzie, with only 14 points difference. So we're in for a fight today. That's exciting.
So that is how well prepared we are, Sam. That is lovely, because it's not sorted. You're completely right. I was looking at the total standings. So let's rephrase that. It's 14 points difference between Kenzie Newham and Simon Trendle. Now, I wasn't looking forward to this, but I'm now looking forward to this one, Sam.
I was already looking forward to this, but I don't know why these were not sorted properly, but
well, because we have a programmer that forgot to get the drop scores in.
No. That's an administration stuff that's done in the background. That's not a coding stuff. It's a button to click that neither Pete or I did.
Well, in that case, scratch shall be set before. The battle is on. Simon and Kenzie, 101, mano a mano. Well, I'm starting to get excited now. I'm really looking forward to a good battle between them then. So here are the points, but these are the total points.
Yeah, these are
so the difference.
Correct. Yeah.
So the difference is, I'll go through the top 3 on the drop score. With Simon Trendle. Oh, here's the score. So Simon Trendle currently, with the drop score included, has 2,039 points, and there you have Kenzie Newhoff on 3rd position, who has with 2,025 points. So that gap is only 14 points currently, with 300 points on the table, and incidents getting reducted from the points you obtain during the race. It's gonna be on. It's gonna be sweating needles. It's gonna be get your brown panties on, because this is gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be really interesting, as we've got the few first times going in.
So David Burns popping in the first time, which is actually a pretty decent time already. Right behind him, Bob Woodhouse and Woodward. Tyler knew it, starting 4th, but I assume that he is going to go quicker. Kenzie only 7th currently, and I think this is Simon pulling over, or was it? It was Simon Trendle popping into pole position, marginally beating David Burns, who had a really good race 2 weeks ago as well. And help me out, which track was it? Was it Montreal? It wasn't.
No, it was Montreal.
It wasn't Montreal. It was Mosport, thank you.
Yeah, that we couldn't locate on the map, which we ended up doing, but yes.
So during these quality laps, it's all about you know what your quickest time is. I usually, for example, I always tick on the best lap I ever did on the track, and then I try to emulate that. And during that lap, you always made a couple of mistakes, but just finding that time and getting on throttle a little bit more earlier, and trying to hit the camber you slightly missed in that lap, and trying to perfect everything and take a little bit more risk, brake 2 or 3 meters later, just to get the maximum amount of time, or the minimum amount of time actually, to the finish line.
Yeah, what I usually do is put my optimal best lap on, because I know I'm gonna be done anyway. But most of the time when I do qualifying, I'm not trying to overdo it. It's better to be safe in a safe spot when you're midfield than making a mistake and be at the back where you should be middle field. That's the way I approach it, but we're not racing for the same position, you and I, so I suppose that makes sense for you and that makes sense for me.
Yeah, I always get depressed when I use the optimal time, because the thing is with the optimal time is because of the because we have driven, and I think that accounts for most of the drivers. We've driven the tracks in several different conditions, which means that the optimal time could basically be set to a track where it was only 20 degrees, and
I will
and now
rephrase that.
you know,
The session optimal time, not the all time optimal time.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. Because the session optimal time is obviously a lot more closer to your expected time, like your optimal time in that session, than if you have a track with low humidity, low wind, maybe wind on the back straight, but then gotta get it from the back, and so you obtain more top speed. So that, for me, it's always depressing. But yeah, session optimal time makes more sense. So currently looking at Richard Warmingham. So he's oh, that is a slide and
a wall.
And a wall.
That is Rich Warmingham.
Love that. Thank you.
Red.
So the thing with the issue, I got an excuse for this because I'm completely colorblind, so I can't see the difference.
True. No, that's enough.
And I got the numbers messed up. Well, no, I don't think so. I think you have to be all the way over the curb to get the off track.
Ah, that would make sense, yeah. Because they're based on American rules.
Yeah, but you would say that, but in the corner you just saw Richard take, that corner is different. There it's based on where the middle of the car is. It used to be on the white line, but now it is if the middle of the car is further than 50% over that line, that is an off track. It's a bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
depending on the track, it is, yes.
Yeah, so I would like to see that it's always the white line, just to have no discussion about it. Like, always use the white line, done. If it's always the white line, you can't discuss about the fact if you went over track limits, then it's just always the white line.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's more of the European use for the new rules. When you're, well, depends on the track and how you think about it, but most of the time it's like that. When you go over the white line with all 4 wheels, you're off track, and I think it would be easier for iRacing to detect that than having a magical number somewhere in the middle, which differs from car to car. So yeah, it would be easier for us at least to say that's off track and that's not off track, but you know, they're based on American racing more than European racing, and they make the things to suit that kind of racing more than us. So it's fine.
I mean, they will turn around when they get into a recession after 2 months of 50% tariffs. Sorry. That was a joke.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Oh, man. Well, at least you laughed, but not at the joke.
Yeah, no, not at the joke, definitely not.
So currently, David Burns still leading the pack. He nipped the spot from Simon Trendle, who's 52 thousandths of a second behind him, and right behind him is Kenzie, who's at 1.5 tenths. So those two are still really close together. But the showing David Burns had last 2 weeks ago on Mosport was an immense sign of pace. We saw Simon Trendle getting away with, I think, a tactical victory, using his tire advantage in the end to overtake Tyler, which was a really good fight. He tried to defend it during the feature race, but he couldn't hold it because of the fact that Simon was managed to hold the tires alive for so long and could postpone this pit and had the tire advantage in the end, which gave him a really good vantage point for the rest of the season, but the remaining of the season, last round now, to reel in a championship. And I think that besides it is only a 14-point difference. It's all on the shoulders of Simon to now show that he really has what it takes to reel in his 4th championship, I assume.
I think that is correct. It's 4th or 5th, but I think 4th is correct. It will most definitely correct us if we're wrong, but I think we're not.
Who are your outsiders for today, Sam?
Outsiders, you mean? Well, he's not good in the standings, so I'm not gonna jinx him because he's not gonna win. But I would say Tyler is a good outsider. He's good at fuel saving. He's a good strategist, even if sometimes he just make it up. So I would say Tyler, and probably I think, is it Bob, if I remember correctly, that did the massive fuel saver and did really good in the media day. I think it was Rob Rudolphs. No, it wasn't Ant.
And Rob. I mean, the thing with the names is because they both start with Wood. I always get confused.
Yeah, no, it was Rob Rudolphs. So I would say these two would be outsider for me, but I'm expecting a race between the two Idor Force. Idor is racing forces, sorry guys, David and Kenzie, Simon, and hopefully Rich will mix it up a little bit as well. Although Rich looks a little bit not close enough. I'm not finding the word, but you get it. A little too far from the 3 in front. At least in quali pace, we know, in an endurance race. The pace is different. You don't need the same thing from the car, so we'll see after the first pit stop how it all falls out. But yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting, the fight for the championship, and see if an outsider can mix it up.
Yeah, I think that the names you mentioned, we obviously, with an outsider, I completely agree. You can't never rule out Tyler for being an outsider, but also Jamie Wilson, for example, he sometimes pops up in the standing. He's like Mr. Consistent. If he doesn't get tapped by a weird incident, but he's Mr. Consistent. He always scores good points, and I think that is one of the reasons why Rich Warmingham is so far up the standings, because he kept on scoring consistently. But now currently looking at his sector times, he did 2 quickest sectors of everybody in the middle. So he did a slower first, a slower 4th, but the second and third sector were really massively quick. So he might be able to gain some positions here coming over the line. Not improving on his time. He did improve on his time, and there he is. He got the pole position out of them. And now Kenzie, also on a personal best, sending a quickest 4th sector, rushing to the line, taking the shortest line on the left-hand side to the pit wall, coming over that finish line, and now has the quickest time. So they all timed this absolutely perfectly. It's a little slide there from the Chimera car, and I think we're looking at Jamie Wilson.
That's Simon Trendle.
Really good gamble, because he doesn't have the banners, because I expected.
He does have the small yellow thing under his name.
Oh, I didn't realize.
And he's got the solar panel on the roof, and he's got blue ring mirrors.
With the solar panel on the roof, Jamie has that as well.
No, he doesn't.
Why doesn't he have solar panels, Sam?
Because it's only for Simon. Yeah, Jamie's not good enough to have them. I don't know.
He's not quick enough. I don't know. We're all making this up as we go on. So, nearing the end of the qualifying, currently, Kenzie Newell having pole position, Rich Warmingham second, David Burns third, and Simon Trendo on his last lap, going and trying to get that pole position out of the hands of Kenzie, maybe getting on the first row. Now coming over that line, we'll see a slight delay here in the timing sheet, but he didn't improve, and now Tyler decides to do a Tokyo drift and hits the wall. Very good time. This is Jamie Wilson having a slide in the middle. Currently 10th. Is he able to maybe gain a couple of positions? Bob Woodhouse in 5th position is also still out on track. He didn't get the checkered flag, so he has a lap left there just to try and improve on his position.
Yeah, as we are not in a heat system today, as it's an endurance race. They actually get to finish their lap, which is quite great.
Yeah, one of the things that iRacing needs to fix. Oh, this is a really, really scruffy last sector, and Jamie knows it. I think he gave up on the lap.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a pit entrance test.
Yeah,
for the end
and
of the session,
also,
and that's it.
and also Bob Woodhouse also aborted his lap. So currently, the standing on the left is also the standing we start to see on the starting grid. We'll shout out quickly for Collector Racing. He asked Wobbly, I can't remember your name, but hello Collector Racing and welcome. And as well, lovely to have you in chat, even if you're racing. So, qualifying dusted and over. I think that it was a little bit of a late move by Kenzie getting it on the pole position. Lovely to see that they were pushing it right till the end.
Yeah, Casey did a great job, and Rich as well. I was just before mentioning it was a bit far from the 3 guys in front, and he just put it in an amazing time in to take pole at the time, beaten by Kenzie obviously. But yeah, this is shaping up to be an awesome race. So it's gonna
we
be
wanted the
interesting.
championship fight. We wanted a championship fight, and we are getting it with Kenzie being the chaser in the championship. Once the guys start gridding, we'll go through the standings. But this is a lovely start for Kenzie to elaborate, to catch up on him. Oh, Chesney, thank you. Sorry, I'm looking at the race. Yeah, hello, Chesney. I don't know all the YouTube names. But this is a lovely start of his, fight for the battle, fight for the win, to really, really put some pressure on Simon, who now has to perform. But this is an enduro race, so we have to keep in mind there is fuel saving, there is a tactical battle with the tires, there's gonna be a tactical battle at the front if you really want to push it or you want to stay behind the car. It's far from over, and the championship battle is about to kick off. So going through the standings, Kenzie New in our first position, and on the first row next to him is Richard Warmingham. Had a really good qualifying. David Burns, excellent pace currently, lately, 3rd position. 4th, Simon Trendle, current leader of the championship. He needs to get by Kenzie if he wants to reel in this championship. So, those two main focus today. Bob Woodhouse, 5th position. Bram Dubois is 6th. Tyler Newitt is on 7th, and Greg Carr on 8th, and Woodward 9th, and rounding up the top 10 is Jamie Wilson. 11 is Vincent Skillback, and 12, Nikolai Bogotyrev. Going on 13th is Rob Fan. We haven't seen him for a while, so it's great to have him back on track. Ivan Bauman's always good to see him there as well, right next to Rob on 14th. Peter Evans starting from the 15th position, and 16th is Mikko Koisainen, and we also call him Mika Hakkinen. Anthony Young, 17th, and Darren Reynolds, 18th. Jeff Saunders is 19th, and rounding up that top 20 spot is Rich Jameson.
Good job.
20 cars on track. They are getting gridded. You see the slight variance in where they are set up by the iRacing gods. 7th position. There you see. That's incorrect. I think that is and Woodwork. His car is a little bit like in a certain angle. It's just iRacing putting him in there. It looks a little bit more realistic, but I don't think it's of any use for his starting position. So we have a small dash to that first corner. Looking forward to see if we see any moves. It's a really tight first S's, the center S's to go through. Side by side is possible. If you end up into the marbles, then it's gonna be dusted. Then you're gonna be sent out to the right hand side, and you're gonna lose out some spots. So lights are coming on. We got the first light. We got the second light, we got the third, we got the fourth, the fifth light, red, and now it's green, and here we go. Good start at the front, but a small backlash from David Burns, who had looks like a slight bog down of the tires, maybe a little wheel spin. 3 wide going in the rear, all the Simability cars next to each other. Simon already back to 4th position. There right behind him is Rich Wobbingham on Kenzie Newell. A slight touch there from Tyler, having to defend from Gag car, and he got it shoved on to the grass. All in all, it seems quite cleanly. Besides that one car got a little bit scuffed to the right. You see Tyler here on the defense side of Vincent Skillback in that lovely golden livery he has on the inside here. A small move there. It's Michael Katainen has a little issue. I mean, Nikolai Bogotyrev got spun out. We have to review that later on. So everybody get past cleanly. Almost 3 wide there, going into the double right-hander. That is Rob Van, I think, serving a slowdown of some sorts, or having some positions back because he maybe shoved somebody off the track. Might be a little bit of damage. I think that he shoved off Nikolai and he's returning the favor, and it's a really nice gesture there from Rob. So looking at the front, Kenzie still in front. Rich Wobbingham, 2nd position, didn't make a mistake. Simon got up to 3rd position, and David Burns dropped down 1 position. A lovely start here on this Interlagos circuit, Sam.
A great start, pretty clean start as well. We know there's a long shot before the turn 1, and these S's are really complicated a bit downhill. The braking zone is really complicated, especially with cold tires, cold brakes, lap 1. So I think they did really well to go through that unscathed. And as we see Rich trying to go for the inside on turn 1, doesn't make the mistake. So still fighting. Battle of the mid-pack as well, with Vincent making 2 positions on the start, and Mr. Hakkinen, or Mr. Kuytenen, made 4 spots, which is good, I suppose. Anthony Young as well, making some good progress. We've seen him mostly at the back of the field, but he's making good progress. 14th position for him. Ivan putting pressure behind.
Yeah, really good start there from Mikko Kartainen. Gained 4 positions. Obviously, Rob Van and Nikolai Bogotyrev, they got in a small incident, I think, where I think Rob really played the big part in being a gentleman there and dropping back on track to return the favor to Nikolai, saying, well, I messed up here, you go ahead and we'll keep on fighting. Let's not forget, it's an hour-and-a-half race. So there's a lot to play for, even if you are all the way at the back. This is Rob Van on the inside, maybe looking a little bit, and then missing his brake marker. But Nikolai was also a little bit wide, so I think it is a gentleman move there from Rob. But
I think it's definitely on Rob anyway. I think Nikolai left the inside room for Rob to take in as he went to the left. Nikolai was very kind to leave that door open, and Rob just missed it. But you know, it happens. Redress the position. I'm sure they will fight at the back, and they can recover from that. They already made 1 spot, overtaking Darren Reynolds at the back of the field.
I do think that Darren Reynolds had a slight issue because both Nikolai and Rob, they were off the pack quite a bit. I can't really see how they gained 4 seconds because Darren is already 4 seconds behind Rob now. So this is Darren Reynolds missing his brake marker slightly and having a spin and going towards on the grass, avoiding everyone getting past. No harm done. get back into it. Jamie having a small look there on the inside of Vincent Skillback, just putting his nose in, showing like I'm here to fight, I'm ready to mingle, and I'm single.
But
I'm single and ready to mingle.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm single and I'm ready to mingle.
It would make sense, but I'm no. Nah, I don't know. You know, we would have to ask someone that actually speak English from the first place, because I'm still trying to get the words over my mouth sometimes. So doing these things is not in my comfort zone. Back to the racing though. Well, David Burns is still with this group, as is Brab and Bob. We call that fight for first place, as we see on the screen. All still pretty much together. I'm wondering if there's any saving going on or not. We'll see that a bit later in the stints, obviously, and see which tires stays the best and stuff. But this is looking good, and shaping up to be a real good battle.
It definitely is shaping up to be a really good battle. A slight slide there from, I think, Bob Woodhouse around Woodward, at least one of the NQR Simability cars. We saw that my assumption here is that Kenzie is not showing the real pace he has. Not to discount the Simability cars behind, because they are definitely capable and good drivers. But looking at this group and how close the mid-pack is Kenzie controlling the race and not really going flat out, or either to save tires or either to save a lot of fuel. And this is the main thing we're going to see for the first two stints. We're going to see people close together, following each other. Not many moves, at least not in the front, and all preserving their strategy and preserving their tires as much as they possibly can. This seems like a fight between Bob and Bram, but I think this was a multi-21 where Bob now overtook Bram. And lately we have seen a lot of improvements from Bram recently, where he keeps on getting better. On Motorsport as well, he was really on it and was really hammering down on Kenzie. Let's not forget, on the field at Motorsport, and he got overtaken by Bram, and I can't remember the second car, at the finish line, which now cost him, looking at the drop scores, his current first position. No, not current, but second.
Yeah, previously owned first position. I think that is correct. The running out of fuel at Motorsport was definitely it in Kenzie's championship, but he's making up for it today. 2 positions ahead of Simon. That means in the current live standing, which I can't show you because we don't have the technical capabilities to do it. I'm gonna go look at the website and I will come back to you.
that is actually short for wobbly. Fill up the gap that I'm giving you now. So
yeah, that's exactly that. So there's 14 points difference between the two of them, right?
There's 14 points difference between Simon and Kenzie currently.
So basically, even if Kenzie wins the championship, because there are 30 points difference between the top one, the first position, and the second position for an endurance race.
There is one but here, and the but is that it depends on how many incident points Kenzie gets.
Exactly.
But there's also another but. There are a lot of factors to keep in mind, keep in your head, at the back of your head. We also have points for the fastest lap. We also have points for the pole position. And we also have points for leading laps. And I think there is 3 leading laps currently.
At least 3 leading laps, which Kenzie has, and the pole as well, which he gained already. So there's no coming back from that. And the best lap currently is owned by, I think, Simon. So he's trying to equalize that.
We do expect, right, Sam, that during the race the laps will get quicker because we now are running the enduro. They will change tires, and the fuel load will get lower. So I think that in the last stint there is less, basically like a half tank in it with new tires. Probably that is the time we expecting when we are expecting the quickest lap times.
We should be, except if the track conditions get worse, like other. That's what I mean by worse. Current weather, we're in the morning, so the track is pretty cool, 28 degrees. We shouldn't go too far up, but the track is gonna heat up still. We're in Brazil, so it's gonna be hot.
Yeah, and recently, I think when the weather got updated for V8s, I think about 2 or 3 seasons ago as well, SimCity TCR, the humidity has a really big impact on how the track feels and how the track drives. We see here a fight between Peter Evans and Ivan Bouwmans. Ivan Bouwmans on the inside here. Peter Evans on the outside has a really good line and a really good run. Then we see Rich Jameson blinking behind him. That is never a good sign. On the inside here, on now, suddenly everything is kicking off. Tyler here and Woodward. Tyler trying to overtake him on the outside, but that is quite literally impossible. Cutting back. Now Vincent is having a look on the inside. Tyler was trying to cut it off, but now is on the worst end side of the stick. Has a slight lock up. Has to go wide. Now Vincent on the inside, but the left-hander coming up is in Tyler's preference. Now, going on the left-hand side. On the inside, there's a little bit of camber. Tyler is trying to cut his nose in front of Vincent, but he's not having any of it. Now Vincent's car is breaking up a little, but Tyler has to have some little avoidance action. Now Jamie is getting involved there as well. On the outside, dirty line. Is he able to hold it? No, he is not. And at the end, it is Tyler losing a little bit, but Tyler seems a little bit scruffy under braking currently.
Well, he got shoved offline by trying to make the move on Edward Ward. And good job by Vincent trying to thread the needle. He made the move thick. But yeah, Tyler being out of the groove. It's early in the race, so there's not too much marbles. We're not gonna talk about that, but yeah, I think Tyler's got dirty and stuff. So yeah, he lost the position instead of gaining one, but he's gonna make up for it. Don't worry.
We saw when you explained the marble things, there was something interesting happening on stream. You suddenly saw Jamie approaching Tyler in a really quick manner, and I'll leave it up to the viewers for them to decide what that means. I mean, we don't want to discuss. We are discussing strategy, and we are calling it as we see it, but we don't really want to tell everything. Well, basically, I just did, but whatever. But I think it's the same for the whole top 10 doing it in a similar manner. So this is the top position. 5. Second position moved by Simon Trendo on Richard Warmingham. So now the fight is on. I wouldn't like to be in Kenzie's position. Simon is the chasing car. He is out to grab that prey he sees in front of him. He is the hunter currently, because if it stays like this, then Kenzie will get the championship.
It's gonna be interesting because I'm sure they both know that they need to win to make it work. But it's the safest way to do it, and they both have the capabilities to win. They will have to contain with Rich, David, and apparently Bob is still well with this pack. Ram lost a bit of pace. I think he probably overdid it at the start with the tires, so he's paying the price a little bit now, but still pretty good spot in 6th position. But yeah, these 5 first cars, I think they all have a shot at the race right now. We'll see after the pit stop how much fuel they burns and stuff. No mistake in the pit stop, obviously, is the key. But yeah, this is shaping up really interesting now, as Simon is closing down on Kenzie, or at least not losing any ground since he passed Richard. So that fight is on, and Simon knows he needs to get Kenzie, and Kenzie knows he needs to get away from Simon or save fuel while Simon is behind to make a shorter pit stop to get back ahead of him after the pit stop.
You're absolutely correct, Sam. But the main thing here is that it doesn't really matter where Simon and Kenzie end up, as long as they end up in front of each other. So whatever they get, 8th or 7th, if Kenzie is in 7th and Simon is in 8th, then still Kenzie wins the championship. They just have to finish in front of each other to win.
I wouldn't. No. Well, 7th, 8th, yes. But if you take 9 and 10, for example, no. But I wouldn't expect them to finish that far back. If they finish in the top 6, 7 positions, definitely the one in front will most likely win the championship.
Always move here of Rich Jamieson on the inside here of Peter Evans going up on the straight. Holding on down to the inside, Rob Van right behind them as well. Trying to get some slipstream on the inside and maybe sending it down here to the Senna S's. Braking really, really late. It almost looked like he was going to make it free wide, but he is trying to get Peter Evans offline now, getting a sweep back, but that is getting blocked off by Peter in a really good manner. That was a lovely defending move to avoid being overtaken by 2 cars. Back at the front, we see that Simon really closed the gap on Kenzie, but I still think that Kenzie is really holding back on his pace just to save the fuel. He is the car punching a hole through the air, where Simon is the following car, so he's able to save just that little bit more, and that little bit more could end up being a lot more at the end of the stints.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to know what's going on after the first pit stop and looking at the pit stop time. Hopefully they will pit close to each other so we can really analyze the difference between the two of them. And not one pitting early and the other one pitting late. That would be hard for us to understand what's going on, but we're gonna hear if Simon is actually lifting at the end of the straight. Which he is.
Simon next to him, he is lifting, but you already saw that he wasn't gaining and Kenzie wasn't leaving, but Simon was super late there on the brakes. Good on the exit here, and knowing Simon that he is a patient man, I think that if there's just the slightest possibility, if he can get track position here, he will go for the move, but he won't do it at all costs. He will try to keep on and stay on his strategy with saving the tires, saving the fuel, and thinking about the long game.
Well, what is not a bad strategy is staying right behind Kenzie. He's got the pace right now to follow him. Kenzie is punching through the air, as you said, he's the first guy in line. Simon is saving more fuel behind him than he would in front of him. So that could be a massive win for Simon if you manage to save more fuel than Kenzie into the pit. You can pass him that way.
You're definitely right. What would you do in Simon's situation?
I don't know. I would not be in Simon's situation.
Okay, what would I do in Simon's situation? So what I would do, I'll be honest, I would stick behind him.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say as well. Yeah,
I would stick behind him and behind Kenzie and let him do all the dirty work, and then especially trying to stay behind him in the second stint as well. It's like you can get a better pit stop, but just drive away slightly later, in the pit stop, just to stay behind him, and then on the second stint you save more fuel, and then you get past him.
Yeah, that's what I would have said, because I was joking about the fact that I would never win anyway.
Oh, you would never be in a position, let's be honest.
Well, I would never be in, but if I was, I would do exactly the same. Stay behind, hopefully still be behind for the second stint, and then draw my cards in the last one.
So current top 10, looking at first position, Kenzie Newenhoff, Simon Trendo, we spoke about them a lot, and we will be following this battle very, very closely today. Richard Warmingham, third, fourth, David Burns, fifth, Bob Woodhouse, sixth, currently Bram Dubois. You mentioned it correctly, he's falling off the pack, and we saw Bob overtaking him, and that was definitely a multi-21, where Bram realized that he was not having the pace he had on Motorsport. 7th currently, Vincent Skillback and Woodward 8th. Tyler 9th, and rounding up that top 10 is Jamie Wilson, with right behind him Greg Carr, not to be unmentioned because he's only 3/10 behind Jamie. What happened with Geoff Sanders, because he's a minute behind the pack? Did he already pit it?
He jumps to the pit for some reason.
I think that the last pit stop is a small pit stop. Like, it's a more of a splash and dash.
Okay, I have
So you
absolutely no clue what happened to him, so...
You could offset the... Oh, that is literally cutting the nose off by Jamie Wilson on Greg Carr. Good that Pete's nose was not there, because Pete has a very big nose.
Really? I didn't notice.
Big belly, big face, big nose, everything.
Yeah, you've got a big mouth yourself, so...
You never see me in real life, I mean.
No, but I hear you all the time, so...
You hear me sniffing. On board here with Simon Trendo, who is still putting some pressure on Kenzie. Although he's fuel saving, you can tell that it's always hard to race on your mirrors. While now switching back to Rich Jamieson and Ivan Baumann, who are fighting for 14th position, with Rob Van right behind him. I think that Rob Van has a little bit more pace than the guys in front of him. Well, it's not currently coming out, but in his defense, he has missed a couple of weeks in a row where he wasn't able to drive, so he might not be suited to the car like the other guys are. It looks like Bob is ever so slightly losing touch with the top 4, which still commands with Kenzie, Simon, Richard, and David. Now 1 second behind, although it is he's a little bit slightly through that Senna SS. I've seen that while I was looking at the simulator as well. He seems to end up a little bit more wider than the rest, and it might be due to just some tire fatitude. Vincent Skillback, Bram Dubois, 3/10 separating them. That is a lovely off track there from Bram. So Vincent is now putting the pressure on. Is he being smart here, or is he trying to send it down here on the inside? But it seems that there's just no room here, Sam, with these cars. The cars are just too wide to send them too wide through this double right-hander.
It's a tough corner in itself, and yeah, I think these cars needs to get all the space you can to turn them down. We saw Tyler was on the outside of that turn, and he couldn't make it, and he lost the position in the maneuver. So yeah, maybe to dive at the inside if you really have overspeed before the hairpin. But yeah, it's a tough pass. I think there's really 2 real opportunities to pass on this track. It's at the Senna SS and after the second straight. These are the real passing opportunities, and then if and turn at the other hairpin where the 18th position car Anthony Young arrives right now. So I think this is another good passing spot if you exit well of the previous hairpin. Apart from that, I think it's complicated to pass, especially in these V8s. Yeah, you really need to have a lot of overspeed to make a move anywhere else.
Meanwhile, I had a look at the weather. There's no change in that. Last Wednesday we had a really good, nice, sunny Nürburgring with some slight rain, like the tiniest bit of rain got sprinkled in, and everybody got off put. That would have been the icing on the cake if we would have seen it here tonight, but there's nothing going on. It's just a lovely Brazilian day, not going into the monsoon. I don't think they even have a monsoon, but it's rain season is it called over there? I don't know. But it would have been lovely if that would have got flicked in. There's like a little bit there, but unfortunately we won't see any of that tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of weather into the championship battle would have been nice, but at the same time, they will fight with, you know, on the black stuff, dry black stuff. Almost perfect condition to race in a V8, honestly. A nice shiny weather, not too hot.
Addressing what Chesney said on chat, we were, and that is, we were discussing when how should you stay behind, should you pass someone now already, or just let them do the dirty work. And Chesney mentioned that stay behind till the last 10 or 15 minutes. I think that is what we all would do, but there is a slight risk there, or maybe a major risk, because how big of a fight is the car in front of you gonna give? Meanwhile, Tyler on the outside here of Ed Woodward, he's standing still. He had the Verstappen line right there, man.
If you say so. I haven't watched Verstappen race on this. Oh, and he's completely messed up the corner, which put Greg under pressure from Jamie. And Tyler's gone now.
Tyler seems to be checked out. I think that his position is a little bit... oh, that's a slight touch there from Jamie, and I think that he is already waiting till Greg comes back. Meanwhile, we see Mikko Kotonen getting past him as well. I think that Jamie realized that he was spun all the way around. It looked like he was waiting for him, but he wasn't prepared to wait 10 or 20 seconds, which I completely understand. I think that what happened there was Jamie got his nose in, and we'll definitely get a replay from that. And Greg Carr moved to the right a little bit, but it looks like Jamie is still waiting.
I think he's a little bit of the pace, yes.
So this is the incident we just saw happening right in front of our eyes. Jamie on the inside, just had carried too much speed and tapped Greg Carr, realizing that he made a mistake, and you see him already instantly going off the throttle and trying to readdress that position. I'm sure that Jamie, being the fellow that he is, will apologize to that situation he caused. Maybe he didn't expect Greg to brake, but it looked like he was just carrying a little bit too much speed there.
Well, at least more speed than Greg, that definitely.
Yeah. That for me is a really unlucky incident. Meanwhile, Rob Van overtaking Ivan Bouwmans, and I think that Ivan didn't really put up a fight for that corner, thinking that Rob has a little bit more pace and just trying to hang on to his rear to get a better end result as well. Brand Dubois putting in the fastest lap time there. Did you see that?
Yeah, just the previous lap time. That's why I switched on him after the pit stop. I know he's wide off track, but yeah, after the pit stop, new tires, and he's flying.
And that is the difference between the tires being on old tires and being on new tires. He missed the apex a little bit there, but correcting it with the second apex because of the triple corner you have there. David Burns, Richard Birmingham. David Burns, 4th position, chasing Richard Birmingham, who is ever so slightly using tires. And Simon now making a fake move on Kenzie, saying, "Look, bro, I'm here to fight, and I'm not giving up this championship." So Bram already pitted, and we think that it's about to kick off with other pit stops within now and let's say 5 minutes. We'll see the majority of people pitting because it's probably going to be a freeway pit. We have a 51% fuel limit, so we have different strategies available for everyone trying to stay out as long as they possibly can, or maybe even do a splash and dash, maybe try to continue on all tires. I wouldn't understand if you would ever do so, but well, you could if you wanted to.
You definitely change tires. You don't. Yeah.
Oh, slide from Ivan there.
Oh, they're almost both got behind Rob off track out of the corner. I think this is not Rob's fight though, as Bram's got new tires. Oh, and almost collide between the two.
Rob. Rob is fighting. No, I mean Rob is fighting a little bit there, maybe thinking I can help my teammate out because he was near Tyler.
Well, near Tyler, I wouldn't say so, but yeah, it's definitely someone Tyler
Simon.
can aim for.
Ooh.
Simon trying to make the move, and Bogdaus is in the pits.
Oh, they're forcing Kenzie White there with a late move, trying to do the cutback, but Kenzie parking on the apex, getting a better run. Now, on the inside, maybe here on the exit of the next corner, but it looks like Kenzie had a really good line there, moving away slightly. That is a difference instead of probably Simon on the left-hand side, trying to harden up, trying to get Kenzie offline, but Kenzie has having none of it. It looks like Simon wants to enter the pit as the leading car on track.
Well, it's either I'll try to force Kenzie to a mistake to make him lose some positions for 2 guys behind. Because any mistakes now, you lose at least 2 or 3 positions depending on who you are. So as Kenzie disappears from the screen for a minute, well, for a second, but yeah, that's disturbing as well when you're following. I know Simon will. That's maybe why Simon wants to get past Kenzie if it's blinking. Sometimes during the lap, it's really hard to stay focused and stay behind the car that is blinking. It's a tough thing because it's easy to get inside his bumper without even noticing, and then having some issues after that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit off-putting. And meanwhile, while we are looking at this, Peter Evans, Jamie Wilson, Darren Reynolds, they all went into the pits. And also, Brandon Barr got past Rob Fenn, I think, somewhere at the back of the circuit, and is now in clean air again.
That is Kenzie into the pits. No. What Simon does.
Simon was probably able to save just that little bit, a tiny bit more fuel. So, and also did Richard and David. Kenzie was controlling the pace, but he was also creating that gap into the air for the cars behind him. So they are probably going to pit this lap, and if they're not pitting, that would mean that they have a big tire advantage near the end. Just postponing that for 2 laps will be an amazing achievement for all of them.
They've got traffic ahead though with Peter Evans. Hopefully they either don't catch him before entering the pits, or Peter does the right move and turn on the side, because you don't want to get involved in the championship battle.
So looking at this, I think that Simon is just about in the clear for Peter Evans. They are coming up to the straight, which means that he's going to get a lovely tow, probably towards his pit lane. And now it's just, I hate that phrase, but it is hammer time this lap for Simon. It is down, putting all you have into that car and going out on the in lap. Is he going to spear off to the left? Now, going to the left, is he going for that entry? Going for that entry, trying to brake as he possibly can, not to overshoot the cones, no locking up the tires. That seems absolutely perfect. Right behind him, Rich Warmingham, and also David Burns, Vincent Skillback, and I assume that Tyler is also coming in, going to the left, and we'll see him coming in. So everybody who wasn't out in front like Kenzie is now pitting in. So lap 21 is that magic number. We see Kenzie turning up on the straight, moving up as he possibly quickly possibly can. That's what I wanted to say. And we are gonna see if he ends up now right in front of Simon Trando, and maybe even in front of Rich Warmington, but I think the undercut, like Kenzie just did, is a lot stronger. But Timon coming out on the left-hand side here. Richard coming out. Kenzie coming out. There's a car just leaving this space. This is going to be side by side. Kenzie is pushing. You saw a slide there. They are going to push out of that corner. But I think Kenzie still has control of this race.
I think Simon did everything he could. He gained... The gap between him and the following car, which was Rich Warmingham, was over a second after the only lap he did in front. So he went faster than he could, was being behind Kenzie. But now as Kenzie completely disappeared from the timings. It would really suck if Kenzie gets dropped the decision because of connection issues. That would completely destroy the fight for the championship. So hopefully everything gets fixed quite quickly on this side, so he can stay in the race and fight this fair and square. Yeah, I think you can see Simon went faster, but the advantage of the new tire is just insane compared to a 30-minute old tire.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on that as well. If this not getting any worse, and there is a possibility that you suddenly get a black flag when having connection issues, we'll try to keep an eye on that as well, Sam. Right? If he's in the battle and nothing's going on, then and he's not gaining anything with the slight connection issues he's experiencing, we'll be sure to address that as quickly as we possibly can. Move here from Rich Warmingen on Bram Dubois, who pitted early and is now off sync compared to the rest.
I think Rich lost out on this pit stop cycle. He's been 2 more seconds than almost 1.5 seconds more in the pits than the other guys, which is a lot when you think about it.
1.5 seconds is the difference between the gap now being 2 seconds from Bob Woodhouse, who lost a position on Bob Woodhouse. But Bob Woodhouse also pitted earlier, so he also had the advantage of the undercut.
Yeah. I was more referring to Rich and Rich Warmingham. But that's Bram Dubois that pitted early, not Bob Woodhouse.
Simon still all over the back here of Kenzie Nieuwhof. He must feel the pressure, and they must be sweating. These are the races where you keep looking in a mirror, where you're thinking like, oh, please make a mistake and then I can drive away. If I can get into clean air and these are not in my toe, I am able to keep that gap at 2 seconds. But with these kinds of drivers, these kinds of capable drivers like Simon Trent, like a Kenzie, who barely make any mistakes, both of them, Simon on the right-hand side, but he's not making move. Kenzie is forced to go a little bit on the inside here. There's a defensive line. Although Simon didn't make any attempts to overtake him, it looked like Kenzie felt the need to defend.
Yeah, and Simon just did the fastest lap on the previous lap. So he's claiming those points.
Yeah, so that's 3 points for the quickest lap. Which basically discards the points that Kenzie gained from the pole position.
The fastest lap is 2 points.
Why is it 2 points? Because I don't know the rules. That's why.
Yeah. And it's 1 point for leading a lap in the limit of 3 laps. So I think Simon gained 1 from the previous. So he basically needs to lead at least 3 laps to negate what Kenzie did by leading all of those laps.
Oh. Wait,
yep.
What? So there was a slight lock-up from Ivan Bowmans when he got passed by Peter Evans on turn 1. Oh no, they tapped. There was a slight incident between Ivan Bowmans and Peter Evans on turn 1.
So not now. So that is Ivan passing, which seems to be clear. And most likely the other one is this one that you're referring to. A late dive. Yeah, very late dive. Although he was alongside when turning in, it was a very late dive.
It was a late dive. It's one of those dives where I think that you put your nose next to the car and the car in front of you just doesn't expect it when the leading car just turns in without looking at his mirrors or without noticing the car approaching, and you just get smacked on the left rear suspension. I just got brought a beer by my daughter. Beer time, Sam.
Yeah, what?
Oh, beer time.
Well, cheers then.
Oh, cheers. It's whiskey time for you already.
So it's been whiskey time for over an hour now.
I still have to run 23k tomorrow, so it's a really good idea to drink beer today. This is turning out to be a spectacular finish of a really great season of racing in the new new cars, where we, from time to time in the beginning, we saw a big gap between some drivers, but during the mid of the season, everything bunched up, everything got close together, and all the drivers, they settled down, they started to learn the cars, they started to learn the setups, they started to learn how to handle the tires in these cars, and I think that the racing, and I'll say it, has been better in these cars than in the old gen cars.
Oh, I think the racing has been awesome in these cars. But nowhere near close to this in the previous car. We had some great battles in previous seasons, but I think this one is the closest we've had through the field. We always had these pockets of guys that, you know, were at the front, the middle, and the back of the pack. And in these you had small pockets of other people that were separated from each other. The pocket now is basically 2/3 of the field for the front guys, that you still have a shot even if you're 10th of the grid, which makes it super interesting. It made this season really, really interesting, and Simon is really hassling now Kenzie, trying to put his car on the outside, but that's never going to work on this corner. But he's definitely putting pressure on Kenzie, trying to make him use more fuel to try to stay ahead of Simon.
Simon has to be wary, though, that he's not putting too much stress on those tires. He has a 1-lap tire advantage, which is actually quite huge in the V8s, and he has to take advantage of that. Without really building it up. Right behind them, you see Bob Woodhouse and Rich Warmingham. And there is Richard Warmingham sending it down the inside of the NASs. But Bob has a really good line on the outside now. Richard getting alongside him. And Bob trying to block him off perfectly there. Now Richard has a good exit and trying to ride that curb to get a little bit more turn. And right behind them is Brandon Dubois with David Burns. Basically in the exact same situation. We got 3 pockets, one of Kenzie, Simon, Rob, and then Richard, David, and Bram. And now this is the exact same move we saw 2 laps, a half lap earlier. But now it's Greg Carr on the inside, and Jamie got past him. Did he get past him? I didn't realize who was passing who. But at least Jamie is in front.
Greg Carr passed Jamie, then got passed again by Jamie. So it's a 1-1.
It's all taking off, and you see that there's 1 or 2 spots where you can overtake on this track. Really good line there from Simon, holding that inside curb and really close here. I think that he hasn't been closer yet. Is he trying to get that track position, or is he staying behind and just trying to force Kenzie in a little bit of a mistake? Oh, move on behind this is Richard Warmingham just passed Bob Woodhouse.
Let's watch that, because I think that wasn't in the hairpin, as I said.
A little bit wide there, good swinging line. I think that Bob had to concede, because otherwise he would have gotten the slowdown.
That was massive lunge, but that was so well done by Rich. And great awareness by Bob Woodhouse, letting him through on that move.
Further back, Rob Fan and Rich Jamieson are also fighting for 14th position. Rob all over the rear there of Rich, trying to force him into a mistake. Basically the same way. We have a couple of pockets of cars that just got glued together. A slight snap there from Rob, but he managed to keep it on track. But you can see how much time it cost him. Same. Again, a second pocket, 2 guys together. Tyler Newitt and Woodward also fighting for now 8th position. So all the way over the track, and this is what we meant. Is all the way everywhere on track. There are cars fighting instead of there having a solo race. Simon is really close. I think he never been closer here because like last lap it was 2.5 tenths. Now getting a good exit, getting a good turn in, 2 tenths, 1.5 tenths. He is ever going slightly closer to that rear of Kenzie, forcing him to a defensive line, or is he holding back? Is he holding the throttle back a little bit? It's now again 2 tenths, and he is having a look, but I think, in all honesty, that Simon is trying to force Kenzie in using more fuel and trying to preserve even more.
Yeah, I think that call is 100% correct. Although maybe Simon will say otherwise after the race, but and it's the right thing to do. Just push him as much as you can. Make him use the most fuel you can. Make him use his tires as much as you can, so you get an advantage for the last stint. Now what we're gonna see is, we saw that Kenzie's undercut was the way to go. So will Simon pit 1 lap earlier on the next pit stop to try to get ahead of Kenzie using the undercut?
Yes, and that's the big question about the strategy. It's always so hard to see when you're looking at the race and trying to figure out what's going on, who is saving, who is pushing, who is really trying to do either both of them, actually, because you can't just divert between that. You can push the first stint, you can save the second stint. What is your main thought about behind it? For me, I honestly, I never know. I always ask Steven what to do, or I was ask Sam Blease, like, what do I need to do? Do I need to save? You know, but there's some people just have that thing for that nick of it, figuring out what to do during that race, and not use Ferrari strategies. A small blink there again from Kenzie, and I that must be super terrifying for Simon.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in. You don't want to ask him to park a car because, you know, you're fighting for the championship, but on the other hand, you don't want to crash because of that and yourself lose the championship.
So 47 minutes in. Currently 20th position is Josh Sanders, 19th is Darren Reynolds, 18th Anthony Young, and 17th Peter Evans, 16th Ivan Bauman. Right in front of him, not right in front of him, 14 seconds up the road is Rob Fenn, who is right behind Rich James in 14th position. Mikko Kaitainen is 13th, and Nikolai Bogotyrev, who had an incident with Rob, 12th. Greg Carr is 11th, and Jamie Wilson is the start of the top 10. Then we got Ant Woodward right behind Tyler Newitt with 4 tenths in it, Tyler being 8th and Woodward being 9th. Vincent Skillback, Bram Dubois, and David Burns are 7th, 6th, and 5th. Bob Woodhouse, 8th tenths behind Rich Wallingham, who had a really good launch on the penultimate corner. We see Bram Dubois going into pit because he is off sync compared to the others.
Will he make it the 40 minutes left?
No, he can't.
No. Be a tough ask.
No, it's 51%, so you can't make that. So I think that he either had damage or it just had something weird going on the steering wheel or VR or whatever he's using. But rounding up that top spot is Simon Trendo with Kenzie Newnhoff first and Simon second. So right behind this, a slide there from Tyler. That might be just the thing that Ant needs on the inside here. Not a large defense here from Tyler. Just braking slightly later than he normally would, but not really making it life difficult for Ant. That seems like he doesn't really want to fight this, and just now figures that, well, I'm now behind you and I am gonna save my fuel. It's my turn now.
Yeah, and I think with the wiggle Tyler had, that he ended the move done anyway. So it's better just let him go to live and fight another day, as we say. I think it was the right call from Tyler to just let him go, because he was already in the inside. Don't lose more time than you already did, and just fight another time.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So the sun is shining on the racetrack.
That could play a major part in heating up the track. It's still 40 minutes left. That was super close there. Rich Jameson going a little bit wide. Rob Fan trying to get past him, but suddenly he got caught back, and now Rob is trying to really keep the pressure on high there.
Yeah,
Simon Trendle slightly falling back 9/10 currently. That is the biggest gap we have seen between those two.
Yeah,
right
I wonder if it's a calculated move to just, don't have any issues with the collection issues Kenzie's or it's just Kenzie just pushed the metal to the floor and just going faster to put out some gap between him and Simon. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe Simon quickly tired trying to attack so much, being behind Kenzie all of that time.
There's also a possibility that Simon had a small slight incident or a lockup somewhere in some corner. But we haven't seen this big of a gap since the start of the race. This is Greg Carr, Jamie Wilson. Jamie having a snap there. Greg trying to do it on the outside, trying to cut back, but now it's on the marble, so losing grip. This is Rob Fenn getting past Rich Jameson. Slight touch there, playing bumper cars, but all good, all racing, and that is really tight there. Rich Jameson is not willing to give up this position, almost hitting the rear suspension there of Rob. Rob on the outside, now on the inside, might be able to cut back, but the next corner is going on, and that is Rob locking up, trying to sliding a little bit, and then suddenly hitting his brakes to avoid spinning out. That was a hard, tough fight, but fair.
Oh, that was incredible. 2 fights just at the same spot on the track. Yeah, that was amazing. Greg not giving up though, still trying to put the move on.
And this is the competitiveness we like to see. We see drivers trying to overtake and trying to force the other car into a small slight mistake, but with all the respect in the world, they keep each other on track and they know how the other driver drives, and that is a lovely sight to see.
Back on the championship battle, Simon is closing back in.
So we are assuming that he probably had a lockup or a small slide somewhere. They will probably get away with a 2-stop here, because the first stint, they both pitted. I think Kenzie pitted on 29 minutes. Simon pitted on 32 minutes. So that means that they are both basically on the same strategy. Besides that, Simon was able to get one more lap out of it.
Yeah, one more lap out of it. That means he might be able to have less fuel to put in the car for the last stop, which would basically put him ahead of Kenzie. Things stays that close. And we're approaching the pit stop time now, with 53 minutes in, almost 54. We will probably see pit stop starting in about 5-6 minutes. The big chunk of pit stops at least.
Did you know that track limits in Portuguese is just Portuguese for suggested guidelines? track limits is just Portuguese for suggested guidelines. It's a joke, Sam. That I mean, you don't have to follow rules.
Okay, it's okay. I get it. I didn't understand the Portuguese terms, but that actually the language. When you mean the translation means that. Okay.
Yeah, Brazilian is basically Portuguese.
Yeah, I get it. It's not
you
fun. You
get
can
it
tell
now.
ChatGPT that's bad, but yeah. Okay.
I mean, we have to have some bad jokes, otherwise they can't book us. Remember? Tyler getting past and
Yeah, I think add a wiggle or something, because I see enough track, or crash, but enough track.
Oh, that's an. I think that's an.
Yeah, completely the corner of track.
It's so easy to do in a corner as well.
Oh yeah, I've done it plenty.
Greg Carr still right behind Jamie Wilson when we are currently looking at the fight of Simon Treno and Kenzie, because they and we are trying to address everyone and trying to keep a lookout for every battle that's going on. And even if you're not in a battle, we are seeing you. But this week, this race, this enduro is about who is getting that championship. So we all see you, but this is what we focus on because of the championship. You know, besides that incident Nikolai had in the beginning, we haven't mentioned him a lot because at the beginning of the first lap, he was all the way down to 20th. But he's now up to 12th, his starting position. So that means that he gained 8 positions back without seeing anyone, without really overtaking massively, but just being there on track and driving around.
Yeah, and on that lap after the incident, Rob redressed the position and he's now about 20 seconds behind Nikolai. So Nikolai did actually a great job to be back in his starting position, in 12th position right now.
It definitely gives you a sign of how Nikolai's pace is developing. So he's not a lot slower than let's say until 7th position where Tyler is currently. He's about there and about the same pace. Brandon Bob currently putting in a 37.1, which is not that far off the quickest lap. So he still has some pace in that car with the tires. He already switched a little bit more early. This is Rich Jamieson going in right in front of Rob Van. And I think that is the difference between saving or not saving. If you're not saving, you might not get away with 2 stops.
It's going to be interesting to see what he does. I don't think, looking at where Bram is, I don't think the 3-stopper is going to work for anyone, because the pace is too high.
Would Simon be able to undercut Kenzie? I don't think so, because at least I'm not thinking out loud, because he filled up the tank later, which means that he can't fill the fuel amount earlier than Kenzie does. So now he's bound to either run longer on another lap, or he must have been able to save a little bit more, which I doubt.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pit lane time and the pit stop time for Simon.
Right there from Kenzie?
Yeah, from the first pit stop, and the pit lane time for Kenzie is almost 6/10 longer than Simon, but his actual pit time is 2/10 lower than Simon. So he spent more time in pit lane and less time in the box, which means Simon's pit entry and exit was just brilliant.
Yeah, and that 0.2 you mentioned is just the iRacing variation you get, because it's still a full stop.
Yeah, most definitely. But the pit lane time is almost 6/10 different. So that is based on the actual drive time.
And again, you see them approaching a back marker right before the pit sequence starts. They are approaching it. Oh, you saw that slot wiggle going up the straight there from Simon. That was a weird one. But this is, I think, Peter Evans going into pit lane, staying out of trouble, and is being able to finish this race with a two-stopper as well. Though this is Kenzie. I assume that this is going to be his in-lap or maybe one lap more. And then the magic is going to happen for Simon and Kenzie. Then the big thing is, are they able to pass each other on the track, or is it all about their pit strategy?
Haha. What would you do if you're in Simon's position? Do you pit at the same time as Kenzie, or you try to undercut him?
So what I would do is I would, at a certain point, and that's basically now, know when Kenzie needed to pit, because I know what pitch I was going to drive. So if I was behind him now, I would drive my ass off to get track position. I would want to control that pit entry. I want to control my race. I know that Kenzie needs to stop a lap early. I know. I've been behind him. I've been pushing him. I've been saving fuel. And he's been creating a gap for me. So I know that I have more fuel. So I'm going to use that fuel to get that track position in the last, well, now, in the second stint, to get past him and force him into following me.
Well, we're gonna have the answer to that pretty soon, because they're most likely gonna head to pit lane in the next few laps, if not this lap.
Oh, both at the same time. Simon following him. Entry here from Kenzie and Simon. This is, and Kenzie was super late on the break. A little lock up there, but it doesn't really matter because he's getting new tires anyway. The pit stall is basically at the same spot. Kenzie's at the rear. Now, Simon also turning in. Don't overshoot your pit box, and they get up on the tires. Both of them, Kenzie and Simon. This is gonna be the battle of the century for the V8. It's one mano a mano. It's fight against fight. It's man against man, fist against fist. Who is gonna get out first? They are still stationary, and we are looking at it from above. Simon is away. Now Kenzie's away. It is Simon getting out of the pit lane first, and he is out. Now this battle is on. Kenzie is right on his tail. This is gonna be the battle we wanna see. What a lovely move here and reaction by Simon.
That is incredible.
Now the big question is, did Simon under fuel to get the advantage on Kenzie? And if he did, is he able to slow down the car enough and safe enough? Or is he already good on fuel, and is he able to push right till the end of the race? What a lovely fight we are in for. This is on V8 Simability final championship final. Here we go.
And that completely changed the balance in the championship. Now Simon is virtual champion. Oh, and
Kenzie on the inside. Kenzie is eager. There was the slightest of touches, the slightest of gaps, and instantly Kenzie made clear to Simon, I am here and I am ready to fight.
Let's watch this from Kenzie's car first.
So Kenzie's car here in the pit lane. On the right hand side, you'll see Simon suddenly appear out of thin air, out of nowhere. And this is the most frustrating thing. He has a better line into the exit of the pit lane. This is half throttle. You can't go full throttle, and it with the move was done on strategy.
The car is not Kenzie, but that's Simon going, and you see Kenzie on the left, but Simon is already ahead.
This is so tight, and even Kenzie had to go all the way over the white line there just to not run into the rear of Simon. You know that meme that says "Hold my beer"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hold my beer. It's on. Simon
it, I'm gonna drink it.
A slight. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna drink it. Simon with a slide there. He is now feeling the heat of Kenzie, the Dutch lion behind him against the British. Where does he come from? He's near. He lives where Jamie lives. So you know where Jamie lives?
No.
Oh well, okay. Well, maybe ChatGPT knows. I'll search it.
That would be scary, honestly. As this battle is going on, I'm gonna go back a little bit into the race. A few minutes ago, Bob Woodos had an issue after the round of pit stop, just after he left pit lane apparently, or maybe leaving pit lane. I don't know. So he's exiting right now, and I fear. Oh no, I'm sorry, Bob. Should have put that on screen. That's bad.
So, I got some background information for you on Simon Trendo. Simon Trendo is a British sim racer from Kent, United Kingdom. He races for Team Chimera and has been active in sim racing since the late 1990s. He started with sim racing on the PlayStation with Toka, BTCC, Colin McRae Rally, and Gran Turismo. In 2008, he transitioned his PC gaming with a wheel setup and joined iRacing, where he became more competitive. He also won. He's the winner of the Division 2 in the Volkswagen Jetta TDI Cup. And he's a regular competitor in the endurance events such as the 24 Hours of Spa. Well, he uses an Huizing Pro pedals, DSS Genesis cockpit, and a triple Dell PH221 monitor. And his PC setup is an Intel 6600K and wow, that's probably old, but it's a GTX 1080. But I assume that is an old graphic card. Unbelievable.
Okay. So I wonder where all of this information come from. They must be on Facebook or somewhere, because there's no way ChatGPT knows that.
Okay, so to make sure we're not stalking, this is just public information on the Team Chimera website.
Yeah, website. Yeah, I was about to say they must have a website or something. That's funny that you can actually find stuff like that.
There was a sidestep. Let's get back to this amazing development. So Kenzie on the inside, but no. We saw that move a couple of times by Simon, and I think it's just as it looks so hard to break that tiny bit later and get that move done on that exit. Simon with a slide. And is he gonna defend here to the left, or is he gonna allow Kenzie to stick his nose in? Kenzie wants to, Kenzie tries to, Kenzie does so, and on the outside, Simon on the right, Kenzie on the left, both side by side going through this corner. A little bit of a wiggle on the right hand side there of Simon, but he holds the car down. Now the double right-hander. Is Kenzie able to keep the car alongside him? But I think he can't here. And now he gets forced wide a little bit, and a slight cut off there from Simon. Now he's trying to get it on the outside, trying to get a better run. Maybe cut back here to the inside. This is amazing driving, but Simon has the defensive position here, and he held it.
Simon seems to be all of the limit, way more than he was in the first Tuesday. And I don't know what's happening with his tires, but he's completely wrestling them. Which they still have 23 minutes to go. It must be worrying for Simon to go that out on the tire that early. Well, maybe that's Kenzie's plan. I don't know. Kenzie seems to be easier on his tire right now, but we'll see what happens. Oh, and Backmarker, nice job. Standing out
Peter
of the way.
Evans getting out. Darren Reynolds getting out of the way in a lovely way. Simon on the inside here. There's not a possibility there. And Kenzie disappeared for a second. He gets the sparks flowing underground, so that is lovely. Simon already moving a little bit to the left-hand side. But again, we don't really see a defensive move here from Simon. Almost like he wants Kenzie to be on that inside because he feels comfortable on that outside. But I think you're right, Sam. You see that Simon is now really pushing the limit of what his setup and what his car can do.
If it stays like that for the last 22 minutes, it's gonna be really interesting. I would honestly be able to do it because that's too long to be on the edge. But I'm sure these two are more than capable of doing it. But it will definitely make this really interesting for a final race of the season.
Definitely interesting for a final race of the season, but even more interesting because because the championship is on the line. And if you look at the timing table, you can see that there are people within a second, within 7/10, but nothing is as close as this battle for the championship, for the lead, for the win, for the glorious. Are we getting wood here as well? Do they get Pete's wood? Do they get Pete's wood here?
I think they get the woods. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so fight out for Pete's wood as well. Kenzie pushing Simon through that corner.
They both on the limit on that corner as well. Almost getting the car sideways at the exit.
One of the, maybe two of the best, at least top 20 drivers of V8s on the European side of things. You can see them fight out the championship battle here right now on the V8 Simability BSTV. Simon on a little bit on the outside. Kenzie has a good line, sends it down the inside, forces Simon on the rubble, on the marbles, now on the inside, but Kenzie is still there on the outside. Is he getting fast to that marble? Now the next corner is a right-hander. Is he able to hold it? And I think that he has this move down in the pocket. Now Simon on the marbles again. And this is Simon losing the championship right in front of our eyes, and Kenzie gaining the championship. Lovely. What a move. Spectacular.
It's going
Replay
on at
of.
the back.
Oh, that is late.
Locking up and sending Tyler off.
Yep. A little bit too late. Wow, all that was going on. We saw the overtake of Kenzie. He set that up absolutely perfectly. And this is Bram Dubois readdressing the position after
that was with Anne Woodward, the incident.
And give the position back.
Yes. And this is Bram with his 3-stop strategy, hassling Tyler now.
But I think that fight in front with Simon and Kenzie is not over yet. Do you think that Tyler knows that Bram still has to stop one more time?
He did stop.
No, I mean, you think that Tyler knows that Bram still has to stop another time because he's on a 3-stop strategy?
Yeah, he already stopped 3 times.
Oh, then I didn't say anything.
Yep, I know.
I did say something, but it wasn't correct. Nikolai Bogotyrev also currently right behind Greg Carr. Currently on screen, we still see Bram Dubois trying to overtake Tyler Newitt, as Sam mentioned before, because I wasn't really paying attention. Bram pitted is on a 3-stop strategy where he did change his tires, so he's on much fresher rubber than Tyler is. Tyler on the inside here, rushing towards the center S's in that matter. On the outside slightly, there's no way to get past that. Tyler hitting that curve quite hard. Bram trying to do the cutback, but Tyler absolutely countered that perfectly. And wow, going out on the exit. You see Bram having a slide there, and not being able to capitalize on that attacking move on the entry of the first corner.
Yeah, Jamie looking at that from afar and saying, yeah, go fight, and I'm gonna catch and join the battle. Okay, so Kenzie is approaching a teammate, which is Ivan Bellmans. Knowing Ivan, he's not gonna get involved with the battle, but that could play a good role for, you know, if he just let Kenzie off easier than Simon without fighting it, that would probably help a little bit Kenzie. Although, as I said, I know Ivan is not gonna get involved with that, but I think in real life that's what they would do.
Yeah, and you can see that ever so slightly it seems that Kenzie is now putting the hammer down 7/10 on Simon Trendle. Slightly moving away ever so slightly, because the previous lap was 5/10, and now it's 6/10, and it's 7/10, and that is the way to do it. Just keep nibbling down on that slight advantage you have on pace. Bram having a look again on Tyler in the first corner, but Tyler is having none of it. Now Bram didn't have the slide, and is he able to force Tyler a little bit and force him? Oh, that seems like an off track, but it doesn't matter. Tyler on the defensive line. Bram having a slight look, but he's not able to break any later than Tyler does.
Yeah, this is a really interesting battle, and really interesting way to see it, because the difference in the tires makes it even more interesting.
Simon back within 4/10 of a second. I don't see, unless Kenzie makes a mistake, I don't see Kenzie now giving this away.
Now, I called it early. It looks like Simon got worse tires, or at least struggled more than Kenzie to stay ahead of his tires for the stint, which is weird because he looked really settled down in the first few ones, and now he's completely out of shape. As this is maybe finally resolved, or maybe not. Yeah, Bram's on the inside now for this corner. Oh, big wiggle, and looks who's behind.
It looked like Bram was trying to overtake Tyler on the outside, and you're completely right. Now Jamie is there as well. But it looks like he's not really getting involved, and hoping that these two maybe check each other out. Oh, a slight snap there from Jamie, which cost him about 4/10. You can definitely tell that Bram has more grip currently than Tyler, but Tyler is doing, again, a really good job on holding a car off who is on fresher rubber than he is.
$12 minutes to go, so we're getting closer and closer to the final checkered flag of the season and to the championship crown. Gonna get it.
Championship wood.
Yeah. Well, it would be cheaper for us if Simon gets it, because it's cheaper to ship in the UK as it's in the UK. So it goes Simon.
It would be even cheaper to let me win the TCR, because Pete can just bring it because he's coming over in November.
That's true. I could also win. I don't know. I'm not racing, so it's not gonna work. Man.
And Woodward right behind Mikko Kaitainen. They are fighting it out for 12th position on the inside. Late move there by Ed, but their cars, they were on the verge of outbreaking each other. Both, you saw the cars wiggle on the entry while braking. That was asking the absolute maximum there of the car. You know, I mean, it's karma that Simon doesn't win it because he keeps asking for Pete when I'm here. So go Kenzie.
Yeah, you could say so.
And the gap remains as it is between our two championship rivals. It seems to fluctuate between 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths and gets back into it whenever the other car makes a slight mistake. But there's not much movement going on there. Where I assume that is Bram trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's trying to get style points there, I think.
Yeah, he's entered the drift competition. I think he started to play GDM Japan Drift Master Games, and he's not on iRacing anymore.
I can't remember yet this game where when you were drifting, like the crowd was going nuts behind you. Every time you did a good drift, the crowd went, yeah, let's go. I can't remember which game it was.
I don't know. I don't play drift games.
I never played. It was not a drift game. It was just like this random, I don't know, GT game, whatever. There's this camera on the outside of the fences, of the safety fences, which has a speaker next to it. And every time the camera switches to that, I hear that speaker. And every time it sounds like my daughter is coming in. So every time I look left to the door, it's super annoying.
Yeah, funnily enough, before the start of the race, before the broadcast started, I heard that same speaker, and I was like, geez, there's someone in my house. I live alone, so there's no way there's someone in my house. And I was completely freaked out, and I started to look around and see if any door was broken or something. Yeah, I know the feeling. Don't worry.
Yeah, so it's that speaker going up. It's that camera going up on the straight. Well, good that it's not just me. So with 8 minutes left on the clock, 7.5 minutes left on the clock. We see that there is still a fight going on here. Will Simon try to get past Kenzie? Will he try to do a last-ditch attempt? Will it end up in tears? Will it end up in just a glorious move? Or will it end up in the same way they basically started? As Simon overtook 2 cars, and from that point on, he has been glued to the back of Kenzie. Got past Kenzie after the last pit sequence, and suddenly, out of nowhere, Kenzie sundered down the inside and passed Simon Trendle right in this corner. Tyler all the way on the inside, still holding off Bram Dubois, sending Bram wide. Bram trying to hold on. He's now on a better line. Is Tyler able? His tire is able to grip up. Now a slight move there, slight rear movement there from Bram, with now Jamie also super close. Still Tyler on the inside, side by side with Bram Dubois. Jamie getting his nose now to the rear suspension there of Bram. He seems to be pulling out. Tyler is giving him nothing. No space at all.
Tyler had a big wiggle as well in the corner.
And as Alonso would say, to finish my sentence, it would have been, you always leave it a space, man. So go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
yeah, it's fine.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to say that sentence. I was working up to that. Always leave it a space, man.
Two really interesting battle. Probably not ended the way Bram wanted, but I think he still have the pace to get out ahead of everybody. We'll see. I think he's faster than at least Tyler. Tyler just does a good job of defending.
Oh, Tyler going in.
What?
That is either a black flag. I think that's a drive of shame. Because he hit Bram Dubois.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's 3 drivers
That's a
with
4X.
Black flag, yes. And Bram is one of them. Tyler and Darrell Reynolds.
Darren Reynolds pitted and is now 8 laps down, so he must have quit out.
And I'm gonna say it, but he will be mad at me for saying it. But Ant Woodward is close. Is now with a second drive of shame.
Ooh, oh!
Oh no, Ant, no, please no, not when I switch to you. That looks so bad, man. I do not agree with that. No.
I should say as a commentator, I do not agree with that.
Yeah,
but
that was hilarious, but I do not agree with that.
I do not agree with that as a commentator, but I feel you as a driver.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh man.
Vincent Skillback right on the rear of Bob Woodhouse, the only wood that is really working today.
But anyway, moving on from the wood discussion, battle between teammates.
Battle between teammates, Greg Carr, Nikolai Bogatyrov, but it seemed that Greg got past Nikolai,
Yep,
or let him
that's
pass?
correct. Greg passed Nikolai.
So now looking at the battles on screen, we have 3 minutes left, and I think that this is about the time we want to switch back to Simon and Kenzie. It's 7/10, but that is the battle that we've been watching all night. It's been developing all night, and as it seems, as we think it's gonna pan out, that Simon just does not have the pace Kenzie is having tonight. This is 2 more laps left in the pocket, and then we'll 1 more lap for white flag, and then we have a parade lap if it's if it was up to Kenzie with almost a second. Well, now a second of a lead. This is the biggest gap we have seen yet. Is the tension now? Is the tires of Simon? Have they been stretched out too much during that fight earlier when he got past Kenzie, or is it a fuel issue for Simon?
I guess we'll ask him if he comes into the interview room after the race. But I would definitely say tires. I've seen better days, definitely. We saw a lot of sliding from him when he was battling ahead of Kenzie. Try to stay with him, but the last 2 laps he's lost a lot of ground, and I don't think he's gonna make the almost a second lap now in the last 1.5 lap remaining for the session. But until now, that was an incredible battle from start almost to finish, and it's not a way actually. Don't jinx that. But this battle has been probably one of the best, I would say, of the season, just because it lasted for almost an hour and a half with nothing in it.
An hour and a half, well, an hour and 27 minutes, and that was the point when Simon started to drop back. And looking at how hard he is falling back, I don't think it's tires. I honestly think it's fuel. He just followed Kenzie in. Oh, Kenzie had a slide there on the outside. Is this getting tasty now? It's 7/10. It's 5/10. Is Simon able to capitalize on that? But that must have been a precious slide. 4/10 now. Simon smelled like he had a slight hinge of a smell there, thinking, would I be able to win this in the end with that small mistake? Maybe it's Kenzie just trying to make it a little bit more exciting than we wanted to. Simon on board here. Final lap of the season. Final lap of the championship. Is he able to pull one out of the back with 4/10 between them, half a second and a back marker, which might play in Kenzie's favor or might not, but he's staying well out of the way. Kenzie on a little bit of a more wider line here. Simon right behind him. Do we see a Kenzie struggling over the finish with fuel one more time? Or will we see the new champion? He is flashing his light. He's wiggling his ass. He knows he has it in the bag. It is Kenzie Nieuwenhof, 16th champion of the V8 championship with second place Simon Trendo. What a race. Rich Warmingen coming in third position.
No.
Or is it David Burns? David Burns got into third on that last race of the season. What a lovely finish.
Yeah, honorable mention to Vincent Skilbeck, which made 5 positions during the race, finished 6th. So a pretty good result for him. Also making 5th position is Miko with quiet race. We saw him once or twice, but steadily made his way up. And Rich Jamieson, same thing. He's done now with the race, plus 5 position from the start.
Man, oh man, we've been treated to a really, really good race, and we've been treated to a special one, where it got all the way up to the finish line. Who won?
I think that's Kenzie on the fuel. Getting pushed by his teammate, and someone just blew an engine or something in the background as we have the official result of the session, which is not on the first position for some reason. There you go. I will let you go through that, and I will upload the result on the website.
Oh, well, good lad. So, winner of this last race, and also we know is the winner of the V8 championship, the BSTV season 16 Simability V8ESC Cup. He won. He did it the best. He won the most races, actually. And he also outperformed Simon Trendo in the last race, which was down to the wire. Kenzie Nieuwenhof, number 62, Hydro Racing Forces. What an amazing Dutch win. Really good job. And congratulations on his championship. Simon Trendo coming in second on the final race, who gave it his all. He tried, he moved, he did something different on the pit lane, and he unfortunately gambled and lost. Our current reigning champion, Simon Trendo, has been demoted to second place, but had a really good season for Team Chimera. David Burns coming in third for Hydro Racing Forces, and Richard Warmingham, XVR, fourth position. Bob Woodhouse for NQR Europe, 5th position, and Vincent Skillback for Skillbee Racing, 091, 6th. We haven't seen much of him, but he overtook 5 cars. He had a really good shout out to a showdown today, ending up a lot higher than he started. JB Wilson has been, that is the word I was looking for, in a lot of fights with Tyler, for example, for Team Chimera coming in 7th. Crack Car NQR 8th. Nikolai Bogotyrev, who had an incident on the first lap with Rob Fenn, but still managed to salvage a really good position on 9th. Tyler Newitt 10th. We saw a really good defensive drive there from Tyler. Wasn't really up to pace like he normally is on this track, but in the end, he must have had a blast of a time defending it against Bram and later on against Nikolai. Mikko Kartainen ended up on 11th, and Bram de Boer, after all his fights and struggles to get by Tyler, ended up in 12th. Rob Fan ended up in 13th for BSTV Esports, and Rich Jamieson Racing Forces by iRace on 14th. Ivan Bauman's his rightful teammate Racing Forces by iRacing on 15th. Peter Evans, we saw him a couple of times. He had a small spin, if I remember correctly, in lap 20 or something for XVR2. Anthony Young, his teammate, right behind him on 17th. Jeff Sanders for TMR, the Whip Snake Bunch, is on 18th. And on 19th is Ant Woodward, who decided to yank it into the wall because he got frustrated. And I feel you as a driver, but as a commentator, I would say, no, mate, you shouldn't do that. Darren Woodward on 20th, rounding up the grid. I think we saw him drop out a little bit more early because of some incidents. What a lovely season. And as it is, as Sam, that doesn't seem right. Thank you. So, championship won by Kenzie Neunhoff by only 28 points.
Yeah, that is that is really close for the season. Which is the third drivers and only 3 drivers above 2,000 points in this season. I don't know what to say. This has been an incredible season again. You can see by the points that it was really close. All the standings are on the website. I just want to go into details, but we're just showing off the principle here. Kenzie winning, Simon second position. We can also switch to the other championship. The only one that won't be decided until after the interviews is the driver of the meeting. But switching to the team, I think there's no real surprise there. The iRace Racing Forces, so Alex Ledo, David Burns, and Kenzie Neunhoff team winning by almost 500 points over NQR Europe, and Team Chimera third. So a pretty good result for the iRace Racing Forces, I suppose, winning both team and driver championship. Switching over to the Safe Driver Award, the Logan Jackson Safe Driver Award. Jeff Saunders is your winner with only 20 incident points over the season. That is, well, good job, because only 20 incident is less than what Ant had in this race today. Sorry, Ant, I have to take a shot at you. Simon Trendle almost managed to put himself in position for that one as well, taking second place. And Royal Roback, we haven't seen him for a few races. We can see that from the total turns made. With 18 incidents total, not bad of a result, but not enough in the average to claim anything in that championship. The last one that is already decided, apart from the driver of the meeting, is the Forever Forward Award, the Fred Bingham Forever Forward Award, which is claimed by Vincent Skillback. So Vincent will get something out of this at least. Honorable mention for Kenzie and Simon, that made a lot of position during the reverse grid, I suppose, being third and fourth. But Jeff Saunders, again, pretty high up in these standings after winning the Safe Driver Award, second position in the Forever Forward Award. So good job as well for Jeff, doing great job on this one.
Wow, good to see you go through the standings, man. And I think that it says it all that the Hydro Forces had a double win, as in the championship, as does Kenzie Newenhoff on the individual championship. I see Kenzie usually doesn't really appear in interviews, but he is now waiting in the interview room, and I would really love to ask him some questions about the season. Welcome to the booth, our new championship winner of season 16 for the V8 BSTV, Kenzie Newenhoff. Congratulations.
Thank you, and yeah, finally.
Finally, you are here on the top spot of the podium. Man, that must have been sweating bits, and I assume you need new underwear for this one.
Yeah, especially racing Simon to the pits there at the last stint. That was interesting, to say the least. But in the end, it was good enough. So
You seem to have a lot of pace tonight, and Simon was following you and pushing you and trying to force you into some mistakes. And how did you feel when he passed you in the pit lane?
all kind of dumbfounded because I thought I saved enough to stay ahead of him, but quite clearly it wasn't enough. So in a way, I thought, yeah, here it goes. Because I already had the feeling that Simon was quicker anyway, because that was going at like 80%, and I'm pretty sure he was going at like 50% or something, just saving fuel. So I kind of thought I was like, yeah, that's it basically. But no, quite quickly after that, I found out he wasn't that quick to the twisty bits. So like, yeah, I have a chance there. So yeah, and after a few laps, I made it work. So yeah.
If you will reflect on the season, I mean, it's been ups and downs for both of you. Sometimes really good results, sometimes, well, less good results. New car, well, not new tire model, but new marbles, everybody complaining about. Was there any particular strategy approaching this season, or was it just, I'm just going to, well, as everybody says, I'm just going to do my best and we'll see where it end up? Because you knew you had a shot off the championship this season, right?
Yeah, but kind of an outside shot because every time I came up short, like it always started off quite well, but then it like petered out at the end. So, but yeah, it was in a way like the competition kind of fell away in a way. I don't know. They made quite a few mistakes, so I could capitalize on that. So I think it's mostly on that. But yeah, pace was quite good all season long, and yeah, here we are.
Now, here we are. You deserve Pete's wood.
Lovely. Is it looped up as well or not?
I licked it when I was over there, so it's gonna be fine.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
There's the thing I don't want to hear, but anyway.
So I have one more question for you before we let you go and celebrate with a big glass of champagne or whatever you do, or smoke a joint, do what you do, or drink a cola. You know, you had one slide in the last lap. Was that how scared were you that Simon always got past you?
Nah, not really, because I knew he was quite a bit behind me, but still I was like, God damn, don't get in the marbles, don't get in the marbles, because otherwise, yeah, it's not gonna be that good. So but in the end he was like, I think half a second behind me to the twisty bit, but I know Simon doesn't make lunges or anything, so kinda felt quite comfortable. If I didn't make any more mistakes it was gonna be alright. So yeah.
Well, you did a really good job, and again, we both, me, Sam, and well, us three, but Pete is not here because he always bails out. We wanted to congratulate you on your championship win, and it's been lovely to see you drive the car in such a manner, a new car, and that you still rose on top again, even though that car was like a big unknown factor when the season started. Really, really good job, and you should definitely celebrate a little bit. I know it's just digital, but who cares? Tell this to your girlfriend or your new girlfriend if you don't have one. You won the V8 Season 16 from the BSTV Esports League.
Thank you.
Is there anyone you want to thank or want to dedicate your championship to?
Well, not really. It's just a great big team effort in a way. David as well, having a teammate helped. And our sponsors making it all happen. So to them.
I forgot you also won a team championship, so congratulations on that as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I knew this, but I forgot. So, well, this is your season winner, Kenzie Newenhoff. He's going out and getting drunk into the bar right now because he's completely excited. We can tell, right?
Yeah, see you guys 4 a.m. in the morning, I guess. So till then.
Well, have fun, mate, and at least don't think that it's nothing because you all work hard for this stuff.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. Simon Trendle, first loser of the night. Bye. You want to thank Pete.
I knew that. I knew they were the first words out your mouth. Damn it.
Well, I told Sam during the broadcast, like, this is karma for always asking for Pete, you know.
Right. Okay. Yes.
You deserve this.
I deserve to lose. All right. Got you. No bias in this commentary team, eh?
Oh, definitely not. But yeah, well, I'm now wearing a shirt that says Kenzie for life. Wow. Anyway, it was a really
shirt that says I licked Pete's wood, but anyway.
Oh, I like Pete's wood. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the shirt he. Well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Simon. So that was a really tough one, man. You and Kenzie, you were glued together. Kenzie got the pole position. You overtook 2 cars, and from that moment on, you were all the way over him and right behind him. And I assume you were saving fuel.
Yep. And trying to play mind games, it didn't work. After the strength of field race on Thursday, I knew that he had pace on me. It wasn't enough, but if I just got into the draft of him and then didn't let him get away, I was going to be able to be a nuisance. So yeah, that basically was my plan, was be a nuisance, hope he make a mistake. If he doesn't make a mistake, try and fuel save. And then I jumped in the pit. I did underfuel a tiny bit, and that was just enough to take my concentration off, I think, a little bit, and give him a few pops at me when I came out ahead of him. So yeah, should have put the extra half litre in, I guess, and then I don't know what would have happened, but probably wouldn't have been a different result. But I tried. I just wanted to push him all the way, to be honest. I didn't want to let him have an easy run.
No, you definitely didn't. You were all over him, and he must have been sweating, thinking that you would send it somewhere. What I was wondering is that near the end of the race, you suddenly start to fall back quite a bit. Was that because of the fuel? Was that just the tires being gone?
No, when he got past me, I did keep up for a little bit, and then I just trying to keep up. I just ruined the right rear. The sliding on the fast left-handers just became problematic. Is probably the word I'm going to use. Yeah, I mean, even on the last lap, I had a massive tail slide going around the last corner, which isn't even a corner in most cars. But this is what these ones it is. So yeah, it was a good drive by Kenzie. He didn't make any major mistakes. He made one on the last lap, which let me get a little bit closer to him. I sort of had the hope that maybe he'd underfueled as well and was going to cough across the line, but nope. I've tried.
No,
he was pretty solidly ahead in the championship, like 3 or 4 rounds ago. He missed Barber, which I think put me back into it. So yeah, it was his to lose a few rounds ago, and he's held on to it. So fair play. I did everything I could. I started badly, so I have to not do that next time and get it back.
It looked like that from the beginning. Kenzie really had the car under control, like from the get-go when the car released. But in the end, you gave him a really, really good fight. And I think that although I hate you for asking for Pete, I think you should be proud of the fact that you really forced the fight to him today.
Yes.
You tried and you lost, but you tried.
I did lose. Thank God it wasn't Bathurst, because I would have been completely wiped with the floor width. At least I can hear I can keep up. Bathurst, he's just gone. So yeah. Oh well. Try again next time.
I'll try again next time, definitely. So, really good job. And one last question, I asked Kenzie the same question because Kenzie made a small mistake at the last lap. Was there any hopes of you thinking like I'm gonna be able to send it?
Not in the last stint when he got past me. I was. It would have had to been quite a big dive. It would have been to turn one, and I probably would have spun it. There were times in the second stint where I was a bit close, and I could have had a pop, but it was easy to save fuel at that point. So, yeah, he did well.
Well, I don't know if I need to condolate you with the second place or congratulate you with the second place. It's up to you.
I'll take both.
Oh,
yeah.
you take both. Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, okay. Well, congratulations, Simon, on the second place in the championship, which is still in this field a really good one, a really good finish. Especially thinking that some of the people that were quick in the beginning dropped out, and you managed to persevere and kept on going and kept the fight on. Where me and Sam in the beginning started rattling about a 300 gap point, which was only 14. So we were really, really good informed.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Is there anyone you want to tribute your second place to, your first loss?
Well, if it's the first loss, then this is the time to thank Jamie for losing, because yes, but mostly thanks to the back markers that we came across. Obviously, we were nose to tail the whole race, and everyone we came across was not getting in between us and was making clear what they were doing. So thank you, because in that situation, you sort of see a car approaching that you're catching, and you're like, oh no, please, just let me get on by on the straight. I don't want to deal with the corner. And just thanks for everyone who turns up to these races, because they're huge fun in this car.
Yeah, I think that last one, that first one is a really good one. You point out that people realized that you both were fighting for the championship and you were back to back, and that definitely deserves a lot of respect for them staying out of the way in a manner that it wouldn't impact the championship. So that is a really good call.
I'm sure Kenzie would disagree. I'd rather they got in my way, but from my perspective, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll hope to see you next time, and really good job on your second position. The first loser, Simon Trendle.
See you later.
See you later, man.
What's next for you?
It doesn't matter, man.
Let's see who's in the house.
For everybody.
Not that really, but
David
David.
J. Burns. You
Hey, guys.
had a blast on that quality lap, man.
I did, but I shouldn't have had P3 in that race. That was ridiculous, that finish.
Yeah, what happened there? Because I heard some communication on the radio. What was that?
I think Rich ran out of fuel. He literally was slowing down when he was coming to the line, so he must have run out of fuel.
Well, to be honest, you were the first. You were the third guy coming up with a finish, so you did deserve third position.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. It's just I didn't expect it. And to be honest, I think that's what maybe pushed me in front of Bob in the standings. Maybe, so it's quite good.
Well, you did a really good job. I mean, you held the pole position for quite a while, and then suddenly Kenzie came cutting onto you with a better time. It looked like the track, and same as Montreal last week, 2 weeks ago, really suited you.
Yeah, I like Interlagos. It's definitely one of my favourites, so it was quite good. I probably could have had a bit more in my quali, because I did a 35.7 in practice, but I couldn't nail it in the quali.
You did an amazing job. How was the race? Was there any particular planning? Talk us through the first two stints. You were definitely on the pace then of the quick guys of the Simon Trendle and the Kenzie Newlands of this world.
Yeah, the first stint was okay. I think most of us were trying to fuel save. Nobody was really making any sort of move. So we were all in the same sort of mindset. My first pit stop, I don't know if you saw it, I screwed it up. I missed my pit box. I got confused between where my pit box was in practice and where it was in the race. It moved one back. So I thought it was right at the front. No, I ended up like missing my pit box and having to reverse. So the fact that I was able to recover that and get back into the race was really good. Second stint wasn't quite so difficult. I was a little bit disconcerted by Bram and Bob. I didn't know why Bram was so far ahead, but it turns out he'd got his fuel wrong, so he had to stop 3 times anyway. But yeah, good race.
Yeah, we thought that Bram deliberately went for a free stopper, and in the end, it didn't really work out. But it also didn't like it was in the middle grounds. It looked like because he was offset of the rest, it kind of panned out for him. It was a little bit weird, but yeah
a little bit.
But yeah, the finish was quite interesting, and to see you suddenly pass Richard that. Yeah, because I heard the communication, but I didn't realize what was going on. I thought that he did it on purpose, and then, so well. Anyway, that was a really good result for you, and I think that especially the second half of the season, you really showed that you improved lately. Was that due to practice, or was it just you getting along with the car a little bit better?
Yeah, mostly practice and just getting along with the car. Really gelled with it now. It's such a good rate. When does the next season start?
Oh, we don't know yet. No, man. We're still debating. Okay. Reflecting on the season as a whole, what was one of the races that stood out the most?
I think it would have been Detroit. Definitely Detroit, where I got the win. Because that one was just really unexpected. Plus, Detroit, it's not really a track that I'm that good at. I feel, but how I did it, I don't know. So yeah, definitely Detroit.
Wow. I missed that one. I wasn't present for that one. I think Pete did that one of Tyler. But yeah, I get it. I mean, was it your first win? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that one is always special. Just, I mean, frame it up to a wall and say, I won this digital race. And I mean, you know what happens when girls come over. They're like, oh, wow, you did that? Anyway. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, congratulations on your third place and also on a really good end result in the championship. And wait, let me search because I haven't checked the standings quite as good as I should have. But I'm going to say you are fourth.
Yeah, that's.
Well, that is a really good. That's a really good job. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Good result, man. Congratulations on that. Is there anyone you want to dedicate, want to thank, or you want to say something towards well, for example, getting time for your wife or girlfriend to drive these things?
No, they're not capable of that. Definitely not. No, just my fellow teammate Kenzie and the other guys in the team. Just really chuffed to win the team championship as well. So yeah, really good job. And also thanks to everyone that puts on this league. It's really good fun.
Well, good having you, David, and we love to hear that we did a good job, man. I mean, you can't say that enough.
You did a good job. Well done.
Okay, what was that?
You did a good job. Yeah.
Oh, that thing. Okay, yeah. No, good to talk to you, man, and we'll hope to see you again.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
See you, man. Oh, let's get the guy in that takes up 25,000 minutes. Welcome to the booth, Tyler, the slowest of the BSTV drivers today. Oh, that's not entirely true.
Hello.
How was your race, man? It looked like you were struggling for pace a little bit.
Yeah, I was. Not my best. This is, as I said to the guys in the interview room, this is what normally happens when I don't have practice. When we're not racing at my best track in most sport. So yeah, but it was fun. I had a good race with Ant and with Bram, and yeah.
Yeah, because like Bram was on a really weird strategy with a free stop. We heard that he underfueled and messed up a little bit. Which happens.
He did it on purpose.
No, apparently he didn't.
No.
At least that's my information that we just got. But you were the same thing as you were with Simon 2 weeks ago. You kept on defending in a manner that drove the guys with the new tires completely crazy.
Yeah, I'm really good at defending. Really good at pissing people off, which is not the best trait, but no, it was fun. I was on 12 incidents for basically, well, after my second incident with Ant, I was on 12 incident points. So I was defending from Bram that whole time, knowing that a 4X would push me over. And of course, the tiniest little contact ended up being what did it and pushed Bram over as well, unfortunately. But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it looked like a really clean battle, and there wasn't much in it. It was a slight touch, which was a racing incident, and it ended up being 4X, and we gave you both a drive of shame. Yeah, it happens, right? I mean, one of those things.
Yeah, I didn't, as you said, I didn't have the pace today, so it was my only option was to defend pretty hard, and I knew that there was a decent chance that I ended up with a drive-through, so it is what it is.
Well, that's a way, yeah. So looking at the season, you couldn't attend every race, and you also filled up for me and I think for Pete once during the broadcast, which a big shout out and big thanks to that because we definitely were struggling to get the coverage done this season.
I think I should get max points for the rounds that I covered the broadcast on, and then see where the standings end up. So.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we got this special rule, like the max points for Tyler are 0.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, a really big thanks for filling up those big shoes, because obviously the broadcast with me and Sam is just from a tremendous level that nobody can touch. So anyway, really like a really honest big thanks. Honest big thanks, is that a word? I don't know. Well, whatever. Probably not. I mean, in Dutch it is. Oh, we say it in Dutch all the time. Big honest thanks. Is there any particular thing that stood out for you in the season?
Yeah, I think that there was some uncertainty on how this is a group that was very close on pace in the old car. I think there was some uncertainty in how the new car would shake things up, and it turns out that we're all still very close on pace in the new car. So yeah, that was great. I thought it was a great season. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the races that I got to broadcast, and even though I had to run with very little practice at the end there, and actually quite a few of the rounds, it was still a good time. I think these cars are a lot of fun to drive and race, and I look forward to hopefully season whatever we're on.
Well,
Plus one. 17.
We think me and Sam were discussing this during the race, and we think it looked like, at least, that these cars were even better to fight with than the other cars, the old cars.
It's tough. The other cars were. I would say it was easier to make a pass happen in the old cars because it was easier to make a mistake in the old cars. Or get someone to make a mistake. But I think I had some really awesome, like, drawn out battles with this car. And you can definitely still apply the pressure and make stuff happen. So yeah, it was a good time.
Wow. Good to hear that you enjoyed the racing and that you enjoyed the league again, and that you enjoyed the even though with little practice, that you still found a spot where you could enjoy the racing. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out, or a dedication to tonight, or for the whole season?
Yeah, well, I do want to shout out you two and Pete. I know it was tough finding time to get these races covered, and I think it's awesome that we got all but one of them with full coverage. So really appreciate you all, and shout out to Rob for sticking with me for the whole season again. It's just, he's a great teammate and great to have on the comms during the race. So shout out to that, and of course I keep forgetting this year, but shout out to Simability, who I imagine this would not have happened without. So yeah, I'm just really glad that we get to keep doing this.
Lovely. Good to have you, Tyler. And again, major thanks for all the covering you did for us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You can switch him, Sam.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I lost my mouth.
It was all a lie.
Okay, let's get Bram first, and then we'll get to Vincent after that.
Bram de Bois. Welcome to the booth. It looked like you had a hell of a time and a hell of a struggle to get past Tyler. Bram.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, I thought it like, okay, let's just do 3-stopper, because I was never going to make it on 2 stops, because I kept killing my tires. And then I just kept getting stuck behind other people on my fresh tires, and then getting behind Tyler is like, I felt Ant's frustration. Oh well, but had some fun in the end. Sadly, I had my drive through because he didn't really leave the room for me to get back on track. So, but I don't know why iRacing decided to give me a 4x for it. But I had also
it was kind of a weird situation where Tyler gave you like half a car's width.
Twice.
It was I think I ended the sentence with I don't know if you watch Formula One, but it ended with the sentence with Alonso like you always leave it a space, like that. And it looked like he gave you half a car's width, not really enough, but slightly enough. But the 4x was a bit much, I think. It was just rough racing, rough around the edges.
If he gave me more room on the exit of turn 3, because they did the same there, I caught up my 14x. So otherwise I would have took the 1x. And I was like, yeah, sorry, mate. I need to get back on. And I ain't drifting.
Yeah. Well, it looked like you, at least, he gave you a fight. And in the end, besides the small incidents you both had with each other, it was still a lovely fight to see. And although it could be frustrating, can be frustrating, it's one of the most... it's one of the better things to look at while broadcasting or while watching a race, the big fights between the different strategies.
Yeah, I hope you didn't see me my drive-through pit exit. I hope that's deleted from the record.
I think we saw that, Sam, right?
Yeah, I think we've seen all the mistakes from everybody, because I have eyes everywhere.
Oh, Sam sees everything and I just miss everything. I just ramble.
Oh, honestly,
Edit them out. Edit them out, please.
We did see that you spun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was it. Okay, well, okay, now we know. Okay, so I was just gambling here, but okay, well, you spun. Okay, anyway, you ended up having, and I think we mentioned this before the season started, or at least in the beginning of the season, that we said that you were getting quicker compared to when you first joined the leagues, and I think we saw slight hints of that again in the new car. Where sometimes in certain tracks you were really up to par and really up to pace. Was that expected, or was it just a surprise as it was for you, as it was for others?
I was just happy that all the pace I gained towards the end of Gen 2, it came back for Gen 3. It was like, hopefully it doesn't take another 2 years before I figure it out a bit again. Sadly, the thing you didn't see, because you missed the broadcast, was actually I won a race.
No, we don't count that because we missed one. That doesn't count.
Yeah, we removed it from the standings. That is not true.
So if we didn't see it, it didn't happen.
That is not true. It does count towards the season. Don't worry.
No evidence of it.
No, but it definitely got on the standings. So don't worry, man. Well, in that case, I gotta remember that for the votings. Okay. Anyway, Bram, good having you this season, and I hope you enjoyed the racing. I hope you enjoyed having the pace and retaining the pace you gained towards the end of the last season of the last cars. Is there anything or anybody you want to thank or want to say special words to?
Thank you, first of all, BSTV, for all the broadcasts. Not just you guys, but also all the others that that joined. Simability, of course, and then the team, as always. Have still quite some people who showed up, so that's good. Sadly, no team championship this year. Just Kenzie and David just way too fast. So but maybe next time.
Well, definitely, it was a good shout and good call, and good to see you on track. And we hope to see you again around next time. Bram Dubois, everyone. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Good night.
Good night. Vincent Skilback, last of the interviewees we have in the chat. Welcome to the booth.
Hey.
As promised, you didn't start from the back this time around.
Yeah, I thought I'd risk it. I knew Jeff did have a chance if he had a good race. But yeah, I chanced it.
Well, lovely, man. Lovely to see you on track, and especially in the beginning, in the first stint, you had a couple of battles where you were involved with Tyler, I think, if I remember correctly. It looked like you had a blast of a first stint, especially.
Yeah, it was good fun to start up where I started from. I was a little bit wary at the start, just in case the bad stuff happened again. But no, everyone kept it clean. Did a little bit of fuel saving behind Tyler until I decided he was slowing me down too much, and I decided to go for the move. But yeah, it was some good hard racing in the start. It was good.
Yeah, it looked like you had some pace. You seemed to be up in the quicker half of the mid pack the whole season. You had a couple of races where you end up a little bit higher, but you kept on. And I know you decided to start from the back a lot, also to give yourself something to do. But it seemed like the pace overall was there. Was it a big difference driving this car and driving this season in this car, or was it just felt like a second nature for you?
No, there was a little bit of an adjustment. This car definitely does drive different to the other one. It's a lot more torquey, which I've had to learn to not put my foot down as much. There's been a few setup changes I've had to make just to try get the car stable. I think I found something this week. Just doing my testing and stuff, I think I found a little tweak that made the car a bit better for me. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with my pace today and throughout the season. It's been semi-decent for what I've done.
And looking, I think I asked everybody the same question about this, but looking back at the season, was there any race that particularly stood out for you?
Not really. I think the last few races have been okay, except for Barber, where I actually made the mistake in the rain, put myself out. But I think there's been a couple of races this season where, starting from the back, I've had a few good races and been pretty happy with them. But apart from that, it's just kind of been a meh season for me. But the results say otherwise. But it's all right.
Well, fair enough. So, Vincent, is there anyone you want to thank or you want to dedicate your season to particularly?
Just all the guys that turned up this season. It was good to see we had a 20 cars at the end of the season, which is pretty good. Hoping it stays the same for next season. Everyone for the broadcast this season, even though we didn't have the main people streaming this season. It's been good to have you guys take up that mantle, and it's been good. And Simability for sponsoring the season.
Well, those are wise words, man, and we love to see you next time around. And thank you for driving and being here this season.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, Vincent Skilback, everyone.
See ya.
So yeah. So rounding up the season, what a season finale we had. Simon, Trendo, Kenzie, new enough, fighting it out back to back the whole race. It's been a blistering season. It's been a season with new cars, adjustments from everyone, people turning up. Some people, casuals, who couldn't make it. For whatever reason, did turn up for a couple of races, even though they wisely shouldn't have done, maybe due to health issues or whatever. But we'd like to thank everyone for turning up, and especially a big shout out to Simability for really helping us out here. Definitely, if you haven't, check out their website and check out their goods. If you need, if you have any people or maybe people, well, close people or people that you know of that need some help with sim racing and have a disability, definitely, again, check out Simability. So anyway, let's get back to the one main big question, because we have still one championship to decide, Sam, and that is the driver of the meeting.
It is. I'm not going to jinx the point, but there's a tie at the top. And there's a lot of people 1 point behind the top two drivers. So
I'll be honest, I don't have a clue who's at first, and I promise that I won't check. So I'll go first, and I haven't checked the scoring because I haven't checked the Bill Switzer driver thingy of the meeting, because that's what it's called, right?
it is, yes.
Okay, so I haven't checked it, but my vote tonight, and this is a big drum roll. I think my vote is going to. My vote is going to David Burns. I think that, and that is a vote that is not purely based on this race. That is based on how I saw him develop during the season.
Yeah, that is a good vote. The last few races were insane from him. A lot of improvement. He wins a race at Belay. I completely agree with that vote.
So does that mean that David gets 2 votes?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
no,
okay.
I already made my mind before looking at the standings. I knew who I was going to vote for, and I'm not gonna change because what you said. I do agree with what you said, but I'm not changing my vote.
And what is your vote, Sam?
I would give mine to Vincent, the DOC guys that wakes up at 4 a.m. every time. He had some bad luck at the start of the season, but still wakes up at 4 a.m. to race with us. And I think he drove a good race today. He did qualify for once, which is good. And I think he did a good job. So yeah, my vote goes to Vincent today.
Well, I can completely agree with that one as well. He did a really good job, overtook 5 cars, and he now finally had the guts to qualify. No, I mean, I know he didn't qualify, but all the times. But I think that is a good vote, and he definitely deserves that one.
Completely agree with you. That means we now have the final result of these standings. Let me just grab it. Although if people already looked at the website, they probably know what the final result is. And these are not the correct ones. Let me just put the right ones. There we go. And David is the Bill Switzer driver of the meeting winner. So congrats, David.
And that is actually the most important one. So Kenzie, sorry, David gets a bigger wood.
Do you get a wood for that one? I'm not sure. I think it's just the
I don't know. That is a Pete thing, and we don't get involved with that.
Yeah. Ask Pete what you gonna get.
So, we're getting back to the rounding out that season, season 16 V8's Simability. We had an amazing drive. We had amazing races. We had amazing battles. We had a lot of overtakes. I think, if I remember correctly, if I skim through the last season, we have more overtakes than we ever had in one season. So that definitely means that the car is very drivable and very competitive. I want to thank all the drivers and everybody turning up every week in, well, bi-weekly coming in and driving around and putting up with our horsey broadcasting commentating skills, especially Sam, because we all know that I'm just the leading factor here, right, Sam?
Yeah. I will just agree because I don't want to argue with you, but yeah. I mean, no,
I want to thank Sam. I want to thank Sam for all the camera work and the stuff he does behind the scenes. Definitely updating the scores, but also keeping the website running and keeping the community alive. So a big shout out to you as well, Sam. Lovely to be here in the booth with you. It's been a great season. I think we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of weird facts and a lot of weird jokes. Again, you can book us at ticketmaster.com for our comedy shows if you want to. And I think we've been treated to one of the better seasons in V8 so we could ask for. Rounding up my last applaud is I wanted to thank Pete Bingham actually because he does a lot for the community as well, and he keeps everything going, especially for the TCRs, and a lot
even
he did.
for the V8s, he does,
and a lot for the V8s as well. And the whole Backfire community leans on his very, very fat shoulders. So that is lovely to have him around as a bloke. So never forget to say your thanks to Pete as well.
Mine are fatter, but theirs are stronger. So yeah.
So rounding us up, thank you all. We are gonna call it a night, and we hope to see you on another broadcast real soon.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Robbie. I will just add that I thank you, especially you, for joining me all the time when Pete is not available, and Tyler and Rob for the one time you couldn't join me. Because without you guys, these broadcasts would not have been possible on my own. That would have been too complicated for me. So yeah, thanks a lot, and a big shout out to Pete. That without him, this wouldn't happen. Because of a lot of things that happen in real life. But yeah, so thank you, you three especially, and all the league obviously.
Well,
on that
cheers
note,
to that, mate.
Yep. On that note, thank you all drivers, and we'll see you Wednesday for a TCR broadcast that I'm doing.
Well, see you all. Have a good night.